In this section, we're going to be writing our Java file, our Java package to do the same thing in Java. And you will see how we can, generate the Python jobs and submit it to the Spark cluster. We've done the same for the Scala, created a simple project, generated J out of that, and then submitted it to our Spark cluster. We want to do the same thing for Java language. So I'll be using the Maven package to create a new project, and we are going to be taking it up from there. So going back in here, so I'm going to be having inside my Scala in here, I'm just going to leave that out of the way, and I'm going to go one step out, two steps out. So I'm going to be making a directory. I'll call it jobs.java. Okay. So I'm going to go into the directory of Java, cd jobs, and Java. Okay. So inside my Java directory, I'm going to be initializing a Maven project. So I'll be using Maven. You can use a Gradle, or you can use pom.xml to create a new project. Okay, so I'll just be using Maven as my my archetype. Okay, so I'm going to be saying Maven archetype, and I'm going to say archetype generate. The group ID is going to become ID Spark. Artifact is going to be Spark job. I'm going to say the artifact ID is Maven archetype quick start, and the interactive mode is going to be false. All right. So I'm going to just press enter, and inside the Java directory, the Maven is going to generate a project for me that I can use to create this code. So you can see that in here, I have my Java file in here. By the way, you need to have Maven installed on your system and Java also installed. So if you haven't done that, let me just get you the link where you can do the installation. So in here, you can go to the maven.apache.org for the installation, and you will see that this is how to do the unzipping, or if you are doing a tile unzipping that. But before that, you must make sure that the required dependencies are done. You have to have a Java home and in your system. But if you're using something like maybe Homebrew, you can do some, brew install Maven or something like that. So just look up the documentation for more information on how to get it down onto your system and how to run it on your system. Okay, but this is the link, so you can go in there for that to get more information. So I just use the Maven to generate the project, and inside my Java, you can see that I have my Spark job. I have an SRC in here, and I have a main, and the directory that I have is com.scholar.spark. So it's creating a basic app for me, which is where I'm having my app main. So I'm going to rename this into refactor. I'm going to rename this to word count job. Okay, and then aside from that, I'm going to change this to word count job. So if you're a Java developer, you know that you can't have the main class different from the name of the file. So it's important to be in the same name. Okay. So going forward, we are going to go into the pom.xml. Where's my, pom.xml. I have this as I'm going to be adjusting, I'm doing a copy pasting in there. So if you want to get the full code, you can just get it from the repository in the link in the description. So I'm just going to copy the build section. So the system recognizes how to build that. So it's going to be using the org.apache Maven plugins, Maven compiler plugin, which is I'm currently using the 3.81. The source and the target is 1.8 for the configuration. And the dependencies, I have the JUnit right now as the basic dependency. I just need to add a single dependency of Spark. So in here, I'm going to have a Spark SQL dependency. So if you go in here, I have Spark SQL dependency of 2.12, 3.21. And if you want to get how I get that, you can go into the not com dot. This is I'm using the org.apache, so you can type org.apache dot spark, and you can see that I have my Spark SQL in here. So I'm using the 3.2.1, so which is this guy 3.2.1, and I copied that from here. So if you're using the Maven, you click on the Maven and you can get the same thing into your project. So again, if I copy this and I replace this dependency, you can see that it's exactly the same. Okay. All right, so that is done, and I think, yeah, we are ready to rock and roll and build our project. Okay, so once this is done, the next thing we want to do is go into our Spark job, okay, and write our word count code. So inside the word count code, I'm going to have, I'm going to say the Spark conf is going to be coming from new Spark conf dot set app name. It's going to be word count job. Then dot set master. I'll be using the local. Okay. Then I need to import the Spark conf. I'll be importing the Spark conf from, oh, what did I just do? Yeah, import org.apache.spark.sparkconf. Okay, and I'll end this. So it is very important to use an ID that is friendly, because I already have an idea of how this is going to look like. You might want to use something like an ID, IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse or any other IDE that is more suitable for Java programming because of the IntelliSense and the rest. Okay, so I'm just going to have after that, I'm going to have my Java Spark context, which is the Spark context. I'm going to say new Java Spark context, and I'm going to be passing the Spark configuration into that. So I'm going to have an add coded text in here, add coded text in here. So it's going to be a string of text. It's going to be, let's say, hello world. At the end of the day, I had that. Hello world, hello Spark, hello Docker, hello Yusuf, and hello Java. Okay, then I'm going to have a list of string in here to say my data is going to be an arrays as a list. Okay, I'm going to be splitting that split into by space, and yeah, and once that is done, I'm going to just import the list and the array. So I'm going to be importing that from Java util, java.util.arrays, import java.util.list. Okay, and once that is done, the next thing that I want to do is going to be parallelize the data. So I'm going to have Java RDD. Okay, string is going to be lines. It's going to be sc.parallelize. I'm going to be parallelizing the data. So I'm going to be importing the Java RDD, and it's going to be coming from org.apache.spark.api.java Java RDD. Okay, and the Java Spark context is going to be coming from the same package. Also, I haven't imported that. Yeah. Aside this, once this is done, the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to be splitting split into words and perform the word count. Okay, so I'm going to be using Java pair RDD for that, to have a string and an integer. So this is something like a dictionary in Java, well, tuple or something like that in other languages. Okay, so I'm going to have this imported from the same package name. In here, I'm just going to import this Java pair RDD. So I'm going to be doing lines.map, flat map. So I'm going to be saying map this as arrays, as a list, then space. Well, I'm going to be importing that shortly as okay, and dot iterator. So the space, I'm going to be doing a declaration in here to say private static final pattern of a space is going to be pattern dot compile. So I'll be compiling that as a space. So let's import that. Java util dot regex dot pattern. Okay, iterator, thank you. Then aside that, I'm going to be doing a map to pair. So once I've done the flat mapping, I'm going to be mapping that into a tuple of word and one. So to initialize each of them to one, I'm going to be doing a reduce by key and integer. That'll be summing them up. And at the end of the day, I'm going to come back into this and I'm going to say collect and print the word count results. So I'm going to say the tuple2. Yeah, I haven't imported that. So let's import that. So it's going to be imported from import Scala dot tuple2. Okay. And yeah, tuple2 is going to be a tuple of a string and an integer. And the output is going to be the variable name. I'm going to do count.collect. And I'm going to talk through them and explain this a little bit more. Just let me finish this code. Tuple2 is going to be a parameter of this. I'm going to say tuple and then the output. So just do a system.out, no, system.out.print line the tuple.1 plus a space if you like, or comma, or I'm just putting this in there and plus tuple.2. Okay, and that's it. And at the end of the day, I just do spark.close, which is the close the context. Okay, so let me just talk through each of them and what I just did in the code. So I'm creating a Spark configuration with the name and I'm setting the master local. Okay, I can set the master to the same. Okay, so the Java, I'm creating a Spark context with this, which is the SC. And the string of the text that I want to count is this. And I'm going to be, I forgot that. Okay, so then I'm going to have a list of string as data. So I'm going to split all of this and convert them to list, array list. Okay, and from there I'm going to have a Java RDD and then do a parallelization on the data, and then do a Java pair to do a mapping and map them to pair to initialize them to one, just like we did in our Scala in here and in our Python in here, just like we did the Lambda function in here. Then going back in here, I'm doing the reduce by key and then I'm doing the integer sum on that keyword. Okay, then once that is done, the next thing that I want to do, I have an output in here which I'm collecting from count. The same way I can have my count.collect inside here just to make it a little bit more readable. That's why I'm having it here. So my tuple2 that I declared in here is going to have a string and an integer, just like I declared it. So I'm having more like a variable or parameter, to say string and integer in here. And each of them, you are going to print the string and you are going to be printing the integer. So the underscore 1 is the first value in the tuple and the second value in the tuple. So I'm going to say hello column 1, hello column 2. You can put a space, comma, or something like that, anything you like in there. And once that is done, I just need to import. Let's see if all my imports are fine. I have my arrays, regular expressions, and my Scala.tuple. Let's move this up. And we should be good. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is compile this with Maven to see if everything is fine before we continue. So I'm going to go into the terminal again, and I'm going to say in here, maven.compile, maven compile. And this is going to compile for me. And let's see, it says, let's say Maven clean, install, and U, because of the dependencies. So it says the goal, there is no pump. Yeah, we are not in the right directory. So I'm going to go into the Spark job. And we have my pump.xml in here. So I'm just going to do a clean installation in here. So to resolve the dependencies and get them into the system. So right now it's downloading the required dependencies that I added into my pom.xml. So yeah, it's coming up. Lovely. And yeah, it's recompiling, but there's an error. So it says in my one word count job in line 38, there's an expected closing bracket. So line 38, I'm expecting a closing bracket in there. So let's see why. Where is my iterator? In here. So my iterator is here, so I need to close this. Yeah. Because I'm not closing this flat map. Okay. So I'll just do a clean install again for, yeah, there's no need to do clean install. I should just compile directly, but it's fine. And Maven compile. These are simple errors that could be caught by the IDE, but it's still taking me some time to fix it. So let's see. I didn't close this also, and I think that should fix that. So it says variable counts is not found. And let's see, where is our count? Yeah, I have counts. I'm using count in here. So compile again. Lovely. Now our compilation is done. Even though I'm here using IntelliJ IDE or other IDE that's Java supported, I'm using PyCharm, but I'm still able to pull it through anyways. Yay! Okay, so eventually we've been able to build our project and it's successful. The next thing we want to do is package it. Maven.package. So not Maven.package, is Maven package. Okay. So this is going to generate the jar file for us. And going back, it's running the test, no test, so it's fine. So it's creating the package inside this directory. And if you look at the source and inside the target, you see it inside here. Okay, so I'll just copy this. I have jobs. I'll just copy this. Okay, and inside my Spark Airflow, the DAG, I'm going to have Java job is going to be a Spark submit operator. And I'm going to have a task ID. It's going to be Java job. Connection ID is going to be Spark con. the application is going to be this that I copied from here in the terminal. Okay. And the last thing is dog equals to dog. Lovely. So at the end of the day, I'm going to add it to my list in here to say Java job. Excellent. So going back into the UI, I've just moved this into this so I can add it to the terminal, to the link in the description. Okay. So I'll just do a refresh. We're not going to do the same mistake we did the last time. We just wait a few seconds for the synchronization to be done between the code and the container on Docker. Okay, just a few seconds more, and I'll do a refresh again to see that the three are now mapped. So I have my Scala, Python, and Java. The three are now mapped, and I can now run. So let's rerun that to see if everything is okay. Okay, so it's running. The three jobs are triggered at the same time. And I'm excited. Okay. All right, Java failed. Why is that? Okay, let's see in the logs. Why did it fail? It said, yeah, I couldn't find the main class. Interesting. So let's fix that. Going back into my Java, I have my Java class in here. I just need to add a Java class, and the Java class is going to be this guy. I'll just go back into my word count.java in here, copy the package name com.scholar.spark. So I'll just paste that, and the class, the main class name, which is the word count job, I'll copy that and then dot word count. Okay, and that is my Java class, and that should fix it. I'll just do a refresh in here and we should be good. So by the way, let's even see how these jobs are running on the UI. So if I go to the Spark cluster and if I refresh this, and you can see that one is waiting and this one is running. And we have a Python word count. This is our Scala. And then the next one is this. Okay. So we still have two running, which is fine. Lovely. So the three are done running. And you can see them in here. Okay, maybe not done. Yeah, it's done. So the three are done running. And if you click on the Python jobs and you go to the logs, you see the output in here. And in the Scala, you see the output in here. Lovely. And in the Java, you see the output in here. So that is how to create your Python job, Scala job, and Java job. Like I said, you don't have to limit it to just the three programming languages. You can use any language so far you have an entry point into that, and you can generate something like a jar file or even a Python output from there, and you can submit it to the Spark cluster. So just look at the documentation for the supported extensions, something like if you are using something like an Elixir package or something like that, see if it is supported before you do that. But so for now, we've been able to accomplish the objective of this video. To do a recap of what we've done so far, we've been able to set up our Spark cluster, the master worker architecture, even though we are using a single worker, but we are still able to set up our master worker architecture. Then from there, we were able to set up our web server and the scheduler for Airflow. We were able to create our Python job and submit it to the Spark cluster with Apache Airflow. And aside that, we were able to create a Scala job, Scala project. We're able to create a Scala project, write our Scala job, and submit it to the Spark cluster. The same thing for Java, creating a Maven project and writing our Java code, to submit the job to the Spark cluster. Eventually, I also showed you how you can generate and compile, the code from Maven, code from Scala, and generate a Java file from there. If you like this video, smash the subscribe button, like and share for wider outreach. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.